Okay, so let me ask you a scenario. Let's
Okay.
say we're dating, okay? I'm your boyfriend, we're getting serious, and I say, Veronica, I really think we should take this to the next level. Why don't we move in together?
Without marriage?
Without getting married. Let's just do, because why wait, right? We love each other. It's time. So, what do you say? To me, remember, it's me.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's you, whether it's a guy that God himself said, okay, here he is, he's your husband.
Wasn't that me?
Why you? Well, if he hasn't put a ring on it, I'm not moving in. So even if it's you haven't put a ring on my finger, I am not moving in with you. That is something that I always had in mind from the time I was growing up. I told myself I would not move in with a guy until he has married me. So even as nice as you are, as great as you are, if we were just dating casually and you were like moving, or even dating seriously, and you told me to move in with you without marrying me, there was no way I was gonna do that. Not
Okay.
at all. Well,
You heard it directly from my wife's mouth. If I had said, hey, let's do this, she would have shot me down. But instead, I got down on my knee and I proposed within 4 months of
Yeah.
having met her. And hey, we moved in together at that point. And you know what? That's the point of this whole video
Yes.
is don't move in with a man, or don't let a man move in with you. Either
Yes.
way, it's not a good idea if you have not tied the knot. And we're going to talk about reasons why today.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you another question. Have you ever made this mistake and moved in with a man that you were dating and he hadn't taken you to the altar yet?
no, I have not. Well, I had already told myself at the age of 11 years old, man, I can't wait to get married and move to my husband's house. So I already had my life already planned in my mind.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to do anything different. Throughout the course of my life, I encountered guys that were like, man, I feel you, you feel me, you know, let's move in together. Maybe you will help me cover some of the bills, you know, so we can build a life together. And my answer was always no. I
Good for
wasn't
you.
about to break my own rules and move in with somebody without being married. So that was a complete no. And first of all, another thing was that guy who had asked me to move in was like, oh, so you can help me with the bills? I was like, you know, I believe in helping a man and a man helping a woman, you know, going back and forth. But if that was the sole purpose of me moving in with that particular guy, the answer was definitely 100% no, even
Yeah.
though I know that I wasn't even going to move in with him. But the fact that he had the thought of me moving in and helping him cover some of the bills of the house actually made it even worse. So don't give a man who has not married you the treatment that you will give a man who has married you. For instance, okay, there was a guy I was dating at one point in my life, and I'll go to his house and I'll clean. I wasn't living there, I didn't move in or anything like I said, but I'll go to his house, I'll clean, I'll cook for his family, I will do laundry, I will just do things. I'll go above and beyond the norm of a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, you know.
So you wanted to marry this guy.
I wanted to actually
Clearly.
because he had promised a marriage to me.
Yeah.
He had promised that he was going to marry me. I was the woman of his dreams, you know. I was a woman that every man would want to be with because I was doing every single thing that a woman that, you know, was married would do. I would do the cooking, I would do the cleaning. By the time he came home from work, his clothes were already laundry done and, you know, folded. You know, I would wake up sometimes even at 8 a.m. before doing anything at my own house, and I would just be at his house, helping his family out and just going above and beyond. And, you know, his family would look at me and be like, wow, Veronica, you are just so sweet. You are so nice.
And why didn't this guy marry
all
you?
the sweet things that they could say, you know what I mean? But that is the point of what I'm trying to make
Yeah.
here, you know. I did all that thinking that the promise of marriage that he had made to me, he was going to fulfill it. But upon all that, let me tell you, this guy ended up being with somebody else.
Didn't happen.
It didn't
Yeah.
happen. He broke my heart, and I remember being so sad, and I'm like, what else do men want? I put my heart on the table, I put my strength on the table, and I went all out for this guy.
Yeah.
And I remember calling my mom, and I'm like, Mom, upon everything that I did, this guy did this to me. Like, how dare he? And I'm not saying don't help your man out or don't assist him when he needs to be assisted. All I'm saying is that don't put all of yourself on one plate thinking that or hoping that this guy is going to marry you. Because at the end of the day, a man knows who he's going to be with already. He knew he wasn't going to be with me, but he liked the fact that I was treating him like a husband. He liked what came with me. You know what I mean? The things I was doing for him, he liked that, but he wasn't going to marry me, and he knew that from the get-go, but he wasn't going to say it.
Well, not every man is going to do you wrong, so to speak, but many of them are going to behave this way if you move in with them too early. And the reasoning for it is actually pretty obvious, because it's like the whole low-hanging fruit theory, right? You're going to grab the easiest fruit, and you strip away any incentive for the man to step up and make you an honest woman, right? Because he's already getting everything that he's going to get after you're married anyway. So in his mind, he's like, why bother? I didn't have to buy the ring. I didn't have to pay for the wedding. I didn't have to go through all that stuff. And you know, weddings are classically like the woman's dream. Men don't sit around dreaming about weddings per se. They dream about the woman they're going to marry, but the ceremony is not typically what the man is interested in anyway. So you take away that incentive, and all of a sudden he's sleeping with you, he's enjoying your cooking, he's enjoying your company, he's enjoying your cleaning, he's enjoying your time, and eventually he'll realize, hey, I can take advantage of this person because look it, she didn't even ask for anything for this. She's just giving it to me automatically. And so that will actually cause him, either consciously or unconsciously, to not respect you
or
as
value
he ought,
you.
or value you as he ought, which is often why men in these scenarios go outside the relationship and end up cheating on you. So save yourself a lot of headache and do things in the proper order. As Christians, that was just the only way it was going to work for us.
Yes, as Christians, it's exactly what Ted said. First of all, a man moving in with a woman, to me, is a little off. You know, we live in a society now where things are so backwards now. They don't believe that a woman should be feminine enough. They don't believe that a woman should allow a man to take care of her. Well, I still believe in that. I believe in being taken care of. I believe in the man being the breadwinner of the family. I believe in the man providing. I'm a hard worker. You know, I do work and I do bring some to the table, but I do believe the man should be the man, and the man should take care of his woman. You know what I mean? And so if you want that, then let that guy make an honest woman out of you. Like I said, I was cooking and cleaning for a man that knew from the beginning, from the get-go of the relationship, that he wasn't going to be with me. Yet, and I also knew that, you know, because I knew that I was a good woman. And, you know, if a man truly wanted to be with me, that man would have just instantly proposed to me like Ted did. I'm not trying to tune my own horn, but one thing I believe as a Christian woman is that my heart is for Christ, and I kneel before him and I serve him, and so he's made me who I am. And because I serve such a great God, I know that there are some good qualities inside of me. And so any man that comes around me that does not see that, you know, does not deserve me. And so when Ted came around me and he saw that, and he was like, man, I want to marry you, I knew that God had brought him to me. And he didn't just say it with his mouth, he followed his words with action, you know. And whereas the other guy that I was with, he said it with his mouth, but there was no action behind it. And the relationship that I was in was almost going to 2.5 years, and I was not seeing anything. And for 2.5 years, I was serving, man. Sometimes we look back and you want to put the clown face on and be like, you know, the clown filter, and like, man, I was a clown. I was a clown. But anyway, lesson learned. At the end of the day, you can do what you want to do, you know, because it's your life. But my suggestion to you is that if he actually wants to marry you, he doesn't need a $10,000 ring or $5,000 ring to marry you. There are affordable rings out there that he can actually buy. And eventually, along the line in life, when you are in a place where, you know, financially you are stable, he can tell you, hey honey, I want to upgrade your ring. Let's go buy new rings, and then let's have a pastor or someone pray on it, and let's just exchange vows quickly again, because I want to do right by you. You deserve a good ring, you know. A ring does not even make the marriage, but it's a symbol that puts us together. You know what I mean?
And on that note, you don't even have to have a big wedding. You can go to the courthouse and get married and make that commitment before God, one to another. together and set your foundation straight. Start off on the right foot.
Yeah.
Things might not necessarily be easy, like my wife
Yeah.
is saying. You might not have a whole lot at the beginning of the marriage, but make sure this guy is actually committed to you. You'll see a lot of guys and you'll ask yourself, is this the guy for me? And as soon as you start bringing up marriage, he starts clamming up,
Yeah.
he starts getting uncomfortable, or maybe he'll just bail. And you realize, okay, this guy is not obviously the guy for you because he's not mature enough to go into a long-term relationship. Because at that point, when you've committed, it's a lot harder for him to squirm away when things get uncomfortable, or he gets bored, or he's decided that he wants to go off with some other woman. Now, granted, we know marriages fail for all the same reasons that, you know, these kinds of relationships without tying the knot will sometimes fail, but you increase the odds that you're going to have a successful experience with your significant other if you do this thing in the proper order, the way that God has designed it to be. So, and one other thing there is to consider, this gets really complex because I don't know if this is the case in every single state, but if you let someone move in with you, there are actually legal actions that that person can take if you try to kick them out.
Yes.
So you're just asking for
here in America.
all kinds of
Yes.
trouble. That is here in America, maybe in other parts of the world. But I mean, why would you ask to complicate your life this way? You know, it's just like putting the cart before the horse. You're rushing things, or you're ignoring some red flags and saying, well, when we move in together, things will be better. It's so often the case that things don't get better when they move in, because that's the goal for him, right? He wants to move in with you. And so he's going to put on his best face, kind of like when he's trying to get you to date him first. He's going to put on his best face to get this milestone that he wants to achieve. And then once he gets moved in this case, then all of a sudden all that, you know, trying real hard to be his best self or whatever, which is just a front, so that he can convince you to get what he wants, all that suddenly goes away.
Because some people will literally take advantage. They will take advantage of your kindness. They will take advantage of the fact that you don't mind living together. You don't mind that he hasn't proposed. They will take advantage of those things and they will waste your time. And by the time you realize they are with somebody else and you ask yourself, man, what was all those years for? What did I do? And that's when bitterness sets in. Bitterness sets in because we've invested ourselves. When you invest something, you want something in return. And all these years you invested in this man, taking care of him left and right, and then all of a sudden he's with somebody else. Tell him exactly what you want, even from the get-go of the relationship. I do want to get married. I do not want to move in with you until you have married me. And if you can't do that, then it's best we go our separate ways, because this is what I want. And if you can't give me that, then what is the point of spending time together? You know what I mean?
You deserve to be respected. So make sure that your man is respecting you and go about this the right way.
And on that note, we want to say thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and to subscribe and to share this video if it has been a blessing to you. And listen, if you have any thoughts and suggestions, don't forget to drop it in the comment below. Bye-bye, everybody.
Until next time.
Until next time.
See you then.
See you then.
Bye-bye.